Yeah, it tastes like a corgi jumped in the peach tub. No, it's good.
Well, Michael, thank you so much for your time. I'd say cheers. It is still summer for a short time still. Summer means sour beers. How do you feel about sour beers?
I don't discriminate when it comes to craft beer.
There you go.
Among other things.
All right, so we're gonna try this this hibiscus sour. Cheers.
Cheers.
It's refreshing.
That's the word I was going to use.
Exactly.
Hot day like today.
Exactly.
Not bad.
What's your go-to style of a beer? You told me you're not the biggest beer drinker.
Yeah.
But if you do drink, what will you be drinking?
It's been tapering off over the years. I was a big craft beer guy for a number of years. Double IPAs.
Yeah.
You know,
The hoppier the better.
the bread loaves in the stomach. But no, I'm getting lighter and lighter and lighter. So these days I'm mostly drinking near beer or the lightest, closest to water beer possible. And that's, I mean, among beer drinkers, it's kind of contentious, but yeah, right now it's a Miller Lite, it's Asahi non-alcohol.
Yeah.
Or, you know, on a hot day like today, like a Modelo would be great. Yeah, that's kind of my lane right now.
This album for you guys is a long time in the making. Does that mean that right now you're finally like, we can let go, or are you even more just underneath the calm surface that you have right now? Is there just a lot of emotions brewing?
I think there are emotions brewing, but I'm starting to feel like I can exhale a bit. It's been a lot of weight, you know. The last few years, obviously, for music have been very tough, just given everything that we went through. So during that process, we had already started recording the record, and yeah, it was definitely a long, dark tunnel for a while, and just getting the first few songs out this summer, I feel a lot of clarity in my mind now.
Okay.
You know? Yeah.
You know, albums, they're either a cohesive story, you know, start, middle, end, you take us on a journey.
Yep.
But we also see more and more people going for the so-called waterfall releases and a little bit more single-focused, and an album becomes almost by default a compilation album versus, you know, one unit. What should we expect with you guys?
I've actually never heard that term, waterfall release. That's very interesting. That's cool. Yeah. Initially, we had kind of kicked around the idea of just releasing song after song after song, but ultimately, the songs were written, you know, in a short enough period of time, all kind of flowing into one another. So I wouldn't say that it's obtuse like a mixtape might be. It definitely started feeling like a record, and that's what we decided to pursue. You know, we put out some EPs, and we were, you know, thrilled to get those songs out, but this felt different, and we wanted to treat it differently.
Okay. Now this is the Corgi's Peaches, and this is a pretty unique beer.
What's the name?
Corgi's Peaches.
Corgi's Peaches.
Yeah. So this is a peach infused pale ale.
Okay.
So this would be, you know,
This guy?
Yeah, that guy.
Okay.
Curious to see what you will, what all the notes that you're gonna find in there.
Okay, I can
Cheers.
already smell it. Yeah, it tastes like a corgi jumped in the peach tub. No, it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
even
nice.
maybe even a little bit of lemongrass even in there.
I'm tasting that.
Yeah. Interesting. I thought this was a good beer to have with you because just like this beer, your music contains so many different elements, and depending on how you listen, you're going to listen to, or you're going to find different notes. You know, like people seem to at times struggle to describe your music. Post grunge is going to be in there. Alternative is going to be in there. you know, when I was listening to your music, I hear as the diverse things as, you know, Manic Street Preachers to the Pixies to the Hip, and then also some L7. You know, like
Wow.
there's just a bunch of stuff in there. Is that just me projecting, or is your sound a little bit the amalgamation of your nostalgic youth and what you grew up with?
That's a great question. I don't think that's just you. I think we definitely, brew up, you know, whatever kind of vibe we're chasing that day. All those references were great. I'm definitely like, you know, those are bands that have definitely been around for us. But I wouldn't even say that those would be the typical, I guess, inspirations for us. So, you know, maybe you're hearing something that's like kind of deep down in there. But we started as a punk rock band, and I feel as though, you know, punk rock's been challenging what those norms sound like for, you know, forever. You know, you listen to London Calling by The Clash, it's not a blistering punk record. You know, they took all sorts of inspiration in a record like that, and you know, even to more modern standards, it's you know, less like downbeat central. And what we wanted to do was kind of nod our head to the, you know, more higher fidelity records that we're all fans of. You know, we listen to a lot of like psych and alternative and, you know, even world music. So I think that we do pull from that as well. You know, we spent years and years, like over a decade, playing anywhere and everywhere. You know, we had a joke that, you know, if there's a zip code, we'll be there. You know, if there's a power outlet, we'll be there. Like we've played any sort of building or out. Like our first show ever was at a skate park outside. So, you know, that was our kind of DIY mentality. We wanted to bring music wherever an audience could, you know, be together. So, just in order to continue the evolution of the band, we wanted something a little more pronounced that, you know, we were kind of like hugging the garage rock vein, and we just didn't, we didn't want to make another lo-fi record.
We're gonna go for a stout. Now, stouts usually considered more winter beers, but this is specifically a summer stout. Let's see what you find.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. Smoky. I'm getting some kind of fruit. I don't know what it is.
And it's definitely, although there's still that chocolatey taste in there, it's less chocolatey and caramel that you would expect in winter, and definitely more fruity and pretty smooth to drink.
Very smooth. Yeah, that's great.
Stouts tend to, you know, divide the masses. People love them or hate them. Where do you fall?
We all in the band love Guinness, so yeah. Me and my sister are Irish, you know, so it's kind of a must. So yeah, I don't know, when we were 18, forced ourselves to love Stout, I guess.
What's that like? I mean, also knowing, you know, people watching this video likely know that the roots of the band were, you know, in New Brunswick. You guys moved here. That bond must have become quite tight over the years. So what's that like, playing with not just a friend or somebody that has the same vision for a band, but somebody that's actually family?
It's very grounding. She puts me in my place. So I mean, I'm thankful that that she's been there doing that for, you know, as long as she has.
Is that necessary? A lot?
I wouldn't say it's necessary. It's helpful. It's you know, I have a lot of like big crazy ideas when it comes to music and art and trying to make things happen, and she's able to paint the reality of the situation. You know, she's not want to shoot down ideas, but she's very skilled, very creative, and she's kind of she's able to rein it in a little bit, you know, and yeah, she's fantastic.
Cheers.
Oh yeah, it's different.
Not to put any things in your head, but like
Tasting wheat?
Weed,
Yeah.
biscuity,
Mm-hmm.
banana bread, even.
Banana bread. Maybe a little bit, yeah.
Little lime flavor in there as well.
There's a lot of flavors going on there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I already mentioned that I think beer for you guys should be very layered and very complex because there was a lot of going on in your music. But let's put it out there. A Dead Broke beer.
Oh,
what would that look like?
Wow. I mean, I just want to crack a joke. It's be like wringing out the bar mat at the end of the night into a pint glass. Or,
Have a nice, nice color, great texture.
yeah. Swamp juice.
Swamp juice. There you go.
Oh my gosh. A Dead Broke beer. I want it to be something that can be enjoyed year round. Something when you're like rifling through the bottom of your fridge, you're stoked to pull out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have a few, like a lot of my friends work in craft beer adjacent to that, and so they'll like give me tasters, and every now and then I'll be rifling through the back of my fridge and I'll pull out some like prune saison, and you're like, nah, I don't want that. So Dead Broke is something that like it's like, oh yeah, okay, a great beer that you know.
Is it for the masses or more an acquired taste?
Dead Broke is for people searching for it, I guess. We're currently figuring out dates and engagements for next year, so we're really excited to get back on the road. And yeah, we love going anywhere and everywhere. So touring across the States, touring across Canada, we're looking forward to that. So yeah, fingers crossed we get on some cool festivals next year, or you know, do as we usually do and set up somewhere and play. But yeah, in the meantime, record comes out on the 22nd. We were filming our new music video yesterday, me and Rachel, and that's for a song called Abattoir, which is our next single. We're very excited to get that single and the video out. And other than that, look out for the vinyl. The record's going to be available on vinyl, so we've got the pre-order open, and stoked to be moving physical, tangible units of our, you know, it's not just floating around on the internet, but it will be on, you know, shelves and coffee tables. But yeah.
No longer a digital 7-inch.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is like the weirdest thing.
I know. We've got shows across Ontario currently. Those are going to be starting at the end of September. We're actually playing September 22nd in Windsor. So it just kind of worked out that way. We're going to be closing out the year in Toronto, so keep your eyes open for that. We're going to be announcing that show soon, but yeah.
Awesome. Toronto, maybe as a bit of a wrap-up question, you know, just your opinion as somebody that lives and breathes music 24/7. Toronto seems to become finally, again, a bit of a, you know, a hub for rock and roll music. You know, it's not always been like that. You know, Toronto had its heydays in the late 60s, came and went in the 80s. There was resurgence all of a sudden. We saw a lot of metal coming out of Toronto. Montreal kind of took that crown in the last decade of being a little bit more the edgy music city, while Toronto was much more focused on mainstream popular music. It seems to change a bit again. There's a lot brewing in Toronto, but as somebody that's on the front lines, do you see that as well?
I think things are definitely changing. I mean, the city's constantly in a state of change.
Right.
We see that with our venues. You know, it's been over a decade now that we've, you know, we've been losing venues, large, small, medium size, and those small ones are essential for artists jumping off. You know what I mean? Some of them include like a place like the Silver Dollar, for example, or Faith Void. You know, spots where promoters could take a chance on bands, and those bands can start to build a local following, and that was definitely the case for us. So, you know, with a city that's losing those venues and losing those opportunities for smaller bands, it's definitely harder, you know. But I will say there's a resilience here in Toronto, and despite losing venues, despite pandemics, despite, you know, everything in between, right now we're seeing a lot of great new acts come out, and it's really exciting to see that spirit of rock and roll alive and well. Ultimately, like, people want to see bands, people want to hear them. It's very apparent in the audiences now. I feel like Toronto historically has had this has been the like audience, you know what I mean? And it still is there, and I'm guilty of it too. Like, I don't want to be like, you know, the old guy throwing elbows. You got to read the room. But just in terms of like people turning out on weeknights, the energy from the crowd, I think that I feel like we're at a point now where people really recognize the importance of it in their lives, and they're coming out to those shows. So it makes it all the more meaningful.
Awesome. Well, on that hopeful note, we'll wrap it up. Final judgment. You've had 4 beers, 4 very different, most of them quite weird.
Wow. Yeah.
We had a hibiscus sour, we had a Corky's peach, we had a summer stout, and we had the clean Saison. What would be your drink of choice out of these 4?
I'm gonna try this one more time.
You go for it.
Because I love the color, and I think this color is like very. This is the vibe of our new record.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Red, neon, smoky room, smoky,
hazy.
Yeah. I do like that, but I love the name. I love peaches. I'm gonna go with Corky's Peaches.
There you go.
As the winner, and yeah, bottoms up.
There you go, bottoms up, exactly. Cheers.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.